Hi, everyone. Welcome to the 3Doshas second event. These are our community sessions, and today we're going to be talking about how Ayurveda and the 3Doshas can be used to have effective leadership. So for a small icebreaker question, I'll go around and call on people. You guys can share a good leader that you think is a good leader that you look up to and you think that is a good job, does a good job at what they do. So whoever wants to go first can just go first, and you can pick on someone else if you want. Or I can call someone. Varun, do you want to start?
Sure. I think a good leader is Drew. He's the CEO of Schoolhouse, and he is great at facilitating and organizing things, and he is like pretty good at like creating strategy for Schoolhouse. And I'll call on Usha.
Do you want to repeat the question, Sachin, for?
Yeah, it's a leader that you look up to, a good leader.
Okay. I think we're trying to go for Nani at this point, right?
Yeah.
Do I have to say something, Sachina?
Yeah, you have to share a leader that you look up to.
Oh, leader should be very powerful, very strong.
Yeah, but do you have a specific leader that you know that you look up to? Like someone, do you know anyone?
Right now, I'm looking to the Modi. I'm talking about Modi.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he's a powerful leader. That's a good example.
Yeah, he's a powerful leader.
Nice job. So you can pick on someone to go now to share, Nani. Or
I'll go, and then I'll pick somebody. So I look up to, it's not a traditional leader that I've always found. It shows up at the top of the leadership chain, but it's been Mother Teresa as I was growing up. I thought that her work for selfless things that she did, and just the way she led in terms of leading so many people towards better life and connecting everything and empowering people as she went along. So that's something I look up to. And I will pick on Simran.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I basically look for a good leader should be the one who just takes up his whole team together, like up. And the one I look for is one like same as yours, a traditional the one he is Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, because the way he put his logistics throughout the freedom struggle for India, I like that.
awesome. You wanna pick on someone? I think we have Mr. Chauhan. Welcome.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Nice. So what we're doing right now is we're sharing, because this session is about leadership, we're sharing a leader that we look up to. So I can actually go. Someone that I look up to was also who Varun said. It's Drew. I was actually going to say that, and then Varun read my mind. So he's the COO of Schoolhouse. I think he's really supportive and he's really engaged in the community. And I think that he does a really good job leading the product team. And Schoolhouse is a nonprofit that offers tutoring. That's what I'm talking about. And Mr. Chauhan, you can actually share next if you want.
Sorry, what do you want me to say?
You can share a good leader that you look up to.
Well, that's a very hard question.
Can be anyone.
Yeah, no single person comes to mind at this time.
If you can't think of anyone, you can also share what you think are good traits of a leader. I know other people did that. Like, what are some traits that a leader has, or how can a leader be a good leader? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, let me come back to it, okay?
Okay, sounds good. Vivan, do you want to share a leader that you look up to?
Sure, yeah. One leader that I really look up to is E.D. Nixon. E.D. Nixon. E.D. Nixon.
E.D. Nixon? Who's that?
He's a civil rights activist that helped in Rosa Parks' case.
Oh,
And,
nice.
yeah, helped launch the Montgomery bus boycott.
Are you learning this in history in school right now?
Yeah.
That's nice. Well, welcome, Dadaji.
Hi, Bete. How are you?
Hi, Dadiji. We're good.
Hi, Bakshish.
Hello.
How are you?
All right, good.
Thank you for making it.
Well, no problem.
Where's Harish?
For Sachin's sake.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thanks.
Where's Harish? I don't see him.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I sent him the link.
That's fine. So, Dadaji, what we're discussing right now is you and Dadaji can share, because the session is about leadership, you can share a leader that you look up to.
You're talking about the leader?
Yes, a leader.
A leader. I'll call it Modi.
That's actually what Nani said. So she said Modi
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, yeah. You see, why I say Modi is that all these years, all the Indians were in the dark. We didn't know our history. The history was all changed. And we were shown as very meek persons, very meek people who everybody came and crushed us. And we don't have any glories of our heroes who fought all these wars and everything. Oh, हमने आजादी ले ली बिना खड़ग बिना धार. That is wrong. That was wrong. That was being interpreted in a very wrong sense. And now we have seen some person who is trying to, link our past with what we are. That looking at our Vedanta from our rishis to the present generation, we were lost. The people came from, the Mughals came and they ruled the country. The British came, they ruled the country. And we went along with the flow at that time with those people, and we forgot our culture, our religion, the most important things is our religion and our values. So this is the guy who has come to link that missing data between our old times, or I'll say Vedic time and now time, that we were not like this. We are great country, we have great heroes, and all those heroes who did a lot of work for this country, for freedom, who fought wars, who laid their lives, they are being highlighted now. And also the other main thing is that during his period, we have not seen, he is ruling since 2014, we have not seen any corruption case. No corruption case has been highlighted. And before that, India was full of corruption, full of political, strings and everything. So I see a real hero who is heading our country right now. And I have all very, very high regard for him, and I wish him that he keeps doing that.
Oh, that was very insightful. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Dadiji, do you want to share a leader that you look up to?
Leader.
Some leader that you look up to?
I have the same opinion. Like he said, everything is true. He is one of the great leader which has no temptation, no greed, and dedication of work.
Yes.
And he works long hours without any desire. He is a desireless great saint, I can say. Because if you read his face or if you read his history, people think that he was a great soul in last birth. Maybe that's why he has a lot of qualities which he's having with him. And we are watching him every step. But there are so many problems he solve one problem and the another comes. It's never going to end. These are endless problems. But how can one person can solve all the problems? If we are with him, then he can do something. But I have seen whole my life that he is the most honest and sincere leader in our country. He has no temptation at all. That's it. He's a
Thank you.
great saint and great guru, whatever you can say.
He's a great leader.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
And he is being recognized by the whole world now. If
Yeah.
you look at the world leaders, he ranks in the top 10.
Yep.
I'll not be wrong in case I say he's the top leader in the world right now.
Awesome.
Did Bakshish say something?
Yes.
Well,
we're going back to him.
Yeah. Actually, my answer was going to be the same as Vijay's answer,
That's
your
good.
Dada's answer. But I didn't specify it, and I didn't say, actually I was kind of lost at that time. But now I'll just turn around the things and say somebody who's an anti-leader. You know, we all know. Yeah.
Yep.
Donald Trump. Okay, so somebody who's not Donald Trump is a leader, I would say.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. Anis?
Somebody who can unite,
Okay.
somebody who can focus on the goals, who's not selfish, and somebody who loves the people and not wrongly utilize the power given to them for ruling the country.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you for sharing. Anis, welcome. Anis is actually the founding engineer at Schoolhouse, so this is pretty cool. Right now, what we're sharing is a leader that you look up to, and then we're going to get started with the slides. Do you want to share?
Oh, yeah, a leader that I look up to. In recent memory, it would be one of my colleagues at a previous company. And I think that some of the people here in this meeting have described leaders very well. And I would just add on to that, that a leader is someone who does all the things that have been mentioned here. But a leader, more than anything, creates more leaders. And if a leader just does everything really well, they are a good manager, they're not a leader.
Yeah.
A leader can inspire and create new leaders, and yeah, that's how I would find a leader.
Awesome. Thank you. Anika, do you want to share? A leader that you look up to?
A leader that I look up to is, I guess you could say, Ruth Ginsburg.
Who?
Ruth Ginsburg.
Do you want to share who that is?
Ruth Ginsburg is someone who protests against women's rights.
Nice.
For women.
Yeah, that's what I said. Cool.
Yeah, nice. Thank you for sharing.
Very good.
Chachu, if you're there, you can share a leader that you look up to.
Yeah, growing up, I was really inspired by Swami Vivekananda. So when he came to Chicago for the Parliament of Religion, people used to perceive Hinduism as just being vegetarianism, right? They had no concept and understanding of what it meant to be a Hindu. And even when other countries were kind of showing their belief system, what he told them was that if you look at our Puranas and you look at our Upanishads, they're really the mother of all religions. And he really made that message and took that message home and shared that with the rest of the world, that really you owe to us the fact that you have all of these other religions. And really it sprouted all from Hinduism. And I think it's also just the fact that he wasn't trying to convert, he wasn't trying to persuade. And I think that's a quality of a good leader, is not somebody who's trying to get you on your side. he just inspires you, and you just want to be with that person. It's not because they're trying to convince you. And I think that's and I think it's also being bold is another characteristic, right? He came out and he was bold. He showed how India had kind of, you know, reinvigorated the rest of the religions. And so I think that's an important characteristic of a leader, is being bold, you know, trying new things or being different in their viewpoints.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. That was great. I think that was everybody. So
Simran, I see some.
Yeah, she shared actually.
Oh, she shared. Okay, I'm sorry, I was late.
No, that's fine.
Sachin,
Yeah, were you gonna say something?
If I may add, about the youth being the leaders of the future.
Yes.
And you are the one of them. Sachin, all the best to you.
Thank you.
Leading us into this TriDoshas.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. Dad, you want to start sharing again? You just click present. Yeah, and then there we go. And also for the new people that are just joining, you can actually just go over what 3Doshas is all about again and our mission and everything. You're actually muted, Dad.
Unmute yourself.
You might have to log back in.
You have to just stop your screen sharing and then unmute yourself and start sharing again, or you can just, there you go. You're unmuted now.
Okay, all right, thank you, Sachin, I'm still learning. All right, let's get started all. So I wanted to share, so we put together some content, and by the way, I love the comments, and I'm so excited, the way you started this thing, because I think a lot of things everybody said, if you put it all together, I want to bring it back to kind of what 3Doshas talks about, and I want to bring it back to what certain qualities there are that people look for in leadership. And I love everything that everybody said, and we'll kind of try to bring it all together. But for the new people that joined this time, if you remember from our previous session, right, we were talking about 3Doshas, and 3Doshas is all about understanding. And I'm just going to recap real quick, but if you need to get more details, you can watch our previous videos. 3Doshas is all about understanding that every single one of us, all of us on this call, everybody that you interact with in this world, all animals, all plant material, any material in this world is made out of the 5 basic elements. And the 5 basic elements are space, air, fire, water, and earth. And then 3Doshas is a concept that comes from Ayurveda that basically says, it's hard to remember 5 things, but let's break things down into 3 things, because 3 things are easier to remember. And the three greater elements that make us all at our body level are Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Okay, and Vata is obviously constituted with space and air, Pitta with fire and water, and Kapha with water and earth. Right. By the way, there's some disturbance coming, so people can go on mute. That would be nice. And then if you look at the 3Doshas, 3Doshas also goes into, so these are the elements that make us at a biological level, meaning our body. We also have the same 3Doshas of the mind that are also present. And those 3Doshas of the mind are what's called the Mana Doshas. And another name for them is 3 Gunas, right? So this is the state of our mind versus the state of our body, right? And the nomenclature for that that's given in Ayurveda is Satva, Rajas, and Tamas, right? This is how our mind thinks at all times, whether it's in a sattvic form, a rajasic form, or a tamasic form. And it's important that we understand that all of these states, whether it's the body state or the mind state, is what is constantly happening in us as we move through our day, our life, any moment for that matter. So what we've done in 3Doshas specifically for this community is, because there's a ton of younger people, we've simplified this to say, hey, you know, you can look at Vata and Satva together, Pitta and Rajas together, and Kapha and Tamas together. But the easier way to remember this would be just remember 3 elements that are needed to make you successful in life are air, fire, and water, right? We all need 3 things. 3 things are air, fire, and water, right? So that's easy to remember. And we've given it a color scheme, air being pure or just clean white, fire being red because it's got a lot of transformation properties, and water just being blue. And what we highlighted last time, if you remember, was that any one of us at any time in our life, even today, tomorrow, is going to be in some state, and that state could have elements of fire, air, and water at different states. So you could be in these yellow stars at certain points in your life. But the objective of us to live a happier life is to actually bring it all back into what we call the 3Doshas balance state, which is the orange star in the middle. By that, we mean we should constantly be striving towards bringing all the air, fire, and water elements together in us so that we can lead a better, more balanced life. And we also talked about the last time, it's one thing to eat right, to do everything at your body level right, and get your 3 doshas, your 3 bodily states or dosha states in balance. But our objective is to take the 3 body states, take the 3 mind states, put those together. So your body and your mind have to be together in balance of air, fire, and water. And once you bring the body and the mind together is when you really get the ultimate 3doshas balance state. So the 3doshas balance state is putting your body, mind, and when your body and mind are together, your spirit comes back into balance together, right? Again, I'm just doing a quick recap here, but if you want to understand this more, watch some of our other videos and you'll understand it. And I sincerely mean this. This is a scientific way of looking at the world, and this applies to every one of us. It's something that you should understand. I inspire you to go out there and understand this more, and you'll understand why for thousands of years this has been out there, explaining how the body and the mind come together. Okay, so that's just a quick recap. So today we're going to talk about leadership. So Sachin, you want to start with leadership?
Yeah, so first, what is leadership? Does anyone want to explain what they think leadership is, like a definition of it, like not trace, just like what is leadership, like the definition of the word? Does anyone want to share?
It's somebody who takes charge.
You see, to me, leadership is to get the things done, whatever you want to get it done. Not yourself, but through people. Make the people understand your ideas and make them work whatever your ideas are. And if you are able to do that, you are a good leader.
Awesome, thank you. So yeah, we have this picture over here. So leadership is to empower people, to inspire people, to share a vision, and to lead change.
Exactly.
So leadership is not just telling people what to do. And you guys maybe want to be paying attention to what these questions, because we actually have a Kahoot after this, and some of these are the explanation of it. So I think Anis was talking about inspiring people. Anis, do you want to share more about that? And then I think you also—
I like these ideas.
Yeah, I think you mentioned there's a difference between a manager and a leader. Can you talk about that a little more if you want to share?
Yeah, sure. So in terms of inspiration, I think that if I am really good at something, then I'm just good at it. But if I am so good at it that I inspire other people to also be good at it, then I am leading by example. That is one of the qualities of leadership in my life.
Awesome, thank you. So what do you guys think, what looks like something inspiring someone? So here, let me pick on Vivan. How do you think you can, if you want to inspire your friend to do something that you're working on, what would you do to inspire somebody?
Well, first I try to hook them in. Like I tell them how cool it is to inspire them to come. And then I'd share my final vision, like what you said. And both of us would try to finish the project. While I'm doing that, I'd obviously inspire him.
Okay, nice. So what Anis said is that he said that leaders create other leaders. Does anyone want to share about what they think that means? How that ties in? How can one leader create another leader? And anyone can talk, even Dad, including you. Okay, Simran has his hand raised. You can share, Simran.
Hello, this is Simran's mother, Roshni Rajani here.
Nice, welcome.
I think so. It's a morning time over there. Good morning, all of you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Namaste. Actually, I also just got interested in this session, so I'm also listening since some time. So according to me, leadership, how a leader can empower people or inspire people, leader must be visionary, and he should have the ability to understand other people's strength in his team. So if he will he is able to understand the strength of people, then only he can make them empower, and he can bring their talent. He can make them lead. He can lead them in leadership role.
Yep, that's all true. Thank you.
Who takes the team ahead?
Yep. Awesome.
That was a really good answer, and I think it answers your question, right, Sachin? How do leaders make other leaders? I think if a leader can empower other people and inspire them, that automatically kind of brings people up, right?
Yeah, and to connect how Ayurveda and the 3 doshas can connect into leadership. Again, 3 doshas as a company, we're all about the 3 greater elements in Ayurveda, and the 3 greater elements are air, which is Vata, fire, which is Pitta, and water, which is Kapha. So how does anyone want to share how they think that those 3 doshas can play into being a leader? And before that, Dad, do you want to explain again for people who might not know what exactly air, fire, and water does and what they control in your body?
Absolutely. Yeah, so thank you, Sachin. So today is about leadership. So I want to talk about how these 3 greater elements help us in leadership. So air, fire, and water. And, just simplify it again. Air gives us all the awareness and the ideas. So literally anything, air literally is about movement. It's about explaining what movement does. It's about explaining how movement brings about ideas. All the ideation in us, all the thoughts, everything that comes to us is all about air. It's the intellect. And the air, obviously your intellect has to dissect through every single idea. It's your intellectual honesty. This is the good part of how you bring the air element to its best strength, right? It's being self-aware and understanding that there's higher purpose that you're trying to go for. It's one thing to get a lot of ideas, which we all have, right? Because that's just naturally going to come to us. But how you digest those ideas through the intellect, in terms of going for something bigger, higher purpose, being self-aware, having intellectual honesty about what's right, what's not right. That's the good part of it. The bad part of it, air, is just taking everything in like we always do on social media and thinking that we're just getting a lot of knowledge, but we're not really digesting it right, okay? So the air element is about awareness and having ideas. The fire element is all about action. This is where transformation comes in, right? The fire element is about having the drive and action. And it's, some people call it's the fire in the belly to go do something. It's about making sure you don't just have ideas of the air element, but you take those ideas from the air element and actually execute on them. And that's where the drive and the action and the execution comes in. And it's all about action. So an example would be, say we have a desire to learn something. We get a lot of ideas. But if you actually don't put it into action and execute on it, the air element just stays by itself and it doesn't go anywhere. We could watch all the YouTube videos on something, but it doesn't do anything until you actually go make it happen yourself, right? Or a great idea you have to uplift something. A lot of ideas were in this session, but if you don't take the action and are not working every single day, I think somebody said, Modi's out there working every single day to go make a change, which is very, very important. And any good leader is going to make sure that the air element and the fire elements are in conjunction together. The water element, which I think has a lot of negative tone to it sometimes from what I've read, it's actually, there's a positive side and a good side of the water or Kapha or Tamas element. And let me try to spend a little bit of time to explain what the water element does for us. The water element gives us the bonding properties or the experiences. Now, you could have all the air and the fire, meaning you could have all the ideas and you can execute once, but that's not going to leave an impression on yourself or an impression on the world. So having a deep impression or going through a deep experience and having that bonding property where you actually get attached to something is a good thing if you think about it. It's once you've had a deep experience and a deep bonding, you go through the attachment, the inertia, It just pulls you in. It also gets you grounded sometimes. Sometimes we get too excited or too carried away in our ideas and our actions, but we don't really ground ourselves and self-reflect and say, I'm doing a lot of things. I've got a lot of ideas, but am I really reflecting back and grounding and saying, am I going for the higher purpose? Is it really hitting home the message I really want? Is it really hitting the target that I'm trying to go for? So the water element is also very important because it keeps us in growth stage, even though we're in reflection state at that time. So again, there's good and bad parts of the water element. The good part is there's still lots of growth. There's still a lot of elements in here that are helping us from a slowness and the reflectiveness, and it keeps us on that path. A lot of the bad things you hear about this is, oh, you're just being lazy, or you're just not doing anything, and you're just being slow. But it's really during the slow times that we actually have deep experiences, deep thinking, and are actually reflecting. So hopefully that helps. Sachin, let me turn it back to you. You were going to ask some questions.
So with that in your mind, for how there's fire, air, and water, what do you guys think leaders, how do you think this can tie into leadership and what leaders need? Do you guys think there's specific elements that they need more of, or do you think they need all the elements? Does anyone have any thoughts on that from what we just learned?
I would approach it as a situation leadership, right? Which is, you need to determine what the situation is, right? If you feel like the team is, just on the ideation part, then maybe it's helping them to drive, right? Versus like if they're really focused on maybe the inertia, they're not able to get themselves going, right? It's to maybe create some of those ideas for them or come up with an action plan. So I look at it as a situational leadership and seeing, okay, what are we doing well as a team? What are we struggling with? And helping the team kind of get there, right?
Yeah, that's all true. Thank you for sharing. Does anyone else have any thoughts?
Yeah, you see, Sachin, whenever we act as a leader, we are given a team to work with, whom we want to make leaders, or you want them to follow you, or some of them may be tomorrow's leaders. Whenever you are in any situation in your life, there are different type of people whom you encounter. And all those people, they have some special qualities. Everybody has a special quality which we need to bring out. You just try to see what qualities everybody has and try to tap that. Everybody has whatever quality he is excelling in. You just tap that and to start with, and then start working on it. And other thing is that once you see that the team is following you or doing something, try to work with them and share your experiences with them and not try to demoralize them. Give them encouragement, even if they are wrong. Tell them that, okay, yeah, I think you are right, but it could be like that. So you have to be very diplomatic also in telling them that you are wrong, and it can be done in a better way. So that is the good quality of a leader, not to, you see, always criticize people, but to go along with them. And even if he wants to criticize, it should be in a very sort of a mild way. That's my take on it.
Okay. Oh, I think Anis has to head out. Bye, Anis. Thank you for joining. And thank you for sharing, Dadaji. That was really awesome. I think we also have a new person who just joined, Bhargav. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, sorry, I didn't change the name again.
Okay.
This is Saujanya.
Okay.
I've joined last session as well, and today I couldn't join in time.
Okay.
No worries. Welcome.
Welcome. So actually, for the icebreaker question, we can just do it for you now. Do you want to share, because this session is on leadership, do you want to share a leader that you look up to, a good leader that you look up to?
I am not sure. I usually when I see someone, I try to see the good qualities that I can take something from them. Yeah, usually that's the approach I take.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll go on mute as I need to help my son as well.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm multitasking, but I really didn't want to miss this session, so I'm here.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Anybody else want to say something before I go into how we bring the elements together for leadership?
Yeah, I guess I will add something here.
Yes, please.
You explained the connection between the three very well. Looking at from this point of view, that there is no fire if there's no air at all, right? So air is the one who actually initiates the fire. And so there's a good balance between air and fire, and water, of course, is the one that can stop the fire from burning. So there's a good balance between air, water, and air, fire, and water. So they're all needed in that sense. So I think it's a very well explained model.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. I'm so glad you said that, because that is essentially exactly what TriDoshas is all about. The balance in between is what's needed, right? I mean, like you said, Mr. Jahan, like if you don't have the water element, your water is your controller. And imagine a fire that gets out of control because it's taking in so much air, which happens to all of us, right? We get super excited about something, or constantly executing, constantly doing things, but not really understanding how to control that sometimes. And that's getting sleep, walking away from it. And it's got very good properties that are needed to keep us grounded, right? But also have a deep experience.
Is he?
So I just wanted to highlight how important. Sorry, something happened, Sachin?
Yeah, I think you froze for a little bit. I don't know if it was just me, but I think you're fine now. You can continue.
Okay. Let me continue, and let's just finish off my slides, and then we can have more interaction and more conversations about leadership. So I kind of put together this thing that kind of explains how all three elements come together, and I've simplified it even more. I've said air is about awareness, fire is about action, and water is about deep experiences or bonding, and how you bond with something specifically. And if you think about it, and I drew a line in between, as you see the line, the yellow line, and the concept here is to understand which side of the three elements do you really want to be on, and which sides actually help us more in leadership, and which sides can actually be deterrent from being a good leader. Okay, so if you take a look at, let's just look at the air element, the awareness, right? The higher self, the self-realized, the thing that keeps us motivated. Mr. Jahan said everything starts here. That's absolutely true. Everything starts with ideas. Once an idea comes into our mind, that's where the beginning of things happen, right? But it's also taking that idea and trying to be self-realized about it and understand how do you take it to a higher purpose. And enlightenment comes from the keeping the air element in balance, or in, call it awareness mode. And it's important that we start from there, but then we go into the fire element towards action. This is where a lot of our, KPIs and how are we doing things and how much action are we taking, how comes in. And active leadership comes when you go into this stage and you start having, hey, I want to have a target. Okay, I've got an idea, but I really want to make something out of it. It could be monetary. It could be the number of people you want to bring along. It could be how you want to inspire people towards an idea, uplift them towards an idea, or motivate people by empowering them to understand the ideas that were in the air stage, but actually in the execution stage. And then the water element gives us this inertia-based thing. Hey, am I getting enough people on board? Is there enough inertia in the system that's moving people by itself into that realm? And that's what a leader looks for, to say, okay, I'm talking about all these things in the air space. I'm executing a lot of things here, but is it really moving things in the right direction? And then, you know, he or she is actually stepping back and saying, you know, are all these three elements coming together in terms of how things happen? I put together some other words in here. So when you have a lot of air elements and a lot of fire elements, right, you actually become very assertive. And by that, I mean, assertive is somebody who really understands other people, is a noble leader, becomes very self-aware and understands the awareness of everybody around them, is still very goal-oriented, right? So it still has a lot of fire elements, is a very driven individual, but has a lot of growth mindset, is not really stuck in one type of thinking. This person, or it could be you, or it could be any one of us, at that time is actually very aware of what everybody's thinking in the room, in the environment, in society, and has the growth mindset associated with it. They still have a lot of hunger to want to go do something, and they're constantly working in the fire element, right? And then over here, I kind of put together, okay, if you're an assertive leader, you have a lot of these qualities with you. So you could argue, hey, but if I have a lot of fire and not as much air, what am I? If you have a lot of fire and not as much air, I would call you at that point somebody who is very target driven, very KPI driven. A typical definition of this could be somebody who's a commercial businessman, says, you know what, I'm just going to do a lot of things and make a lot of money. I have a lot of desires, I have a lot of activity, but you're not really associating the good part of the awareness air element with you. So you could be very aggressive in the fire element, but you're not assertive because you're not thinking of something bigger with your right awareness. So it's important that you bring these two together and make yourself assertive. Now, there's a lot of elements that kind of come in when you have a lot of fire elements that gets you towards aggression. And if you take the fire element and move towards the water element, this is actually something that somebody brought up in this session. You become very aggressive, a bit of deviousness comes in. There's a lot of fire in your belly. You have a lot of tendencies of what you want to do, but you have a lot of dullness in it. Somebody brought up, there's a politician we all know about who's very aggressive, who was very aggressive, especially in the US, had a lot of drive about wanting to make a lot of money out of politics, but really had bad tendencies or low tendencies towards the water element, was really more passive. All trying to do is basically get more aggressive about things and just light people up the wrong way, right? So obviously Mr. Trump is gone now, but I think you all understand kind of where I'm going with this. Then on the water element and the air element, if you ask yourself, in our life, there have been times and moments where we're kind of slow, and there's nothing wrong with being slow, right? We're kind of in a slow time of our life, but we also have a lot of ideas. And do these two come together? They do come together. And a thought process here would be, you have a lot of ideas, but you're not really doing anything with them, right? You really have no fire going on, which makes you super passive if you think about it. So all you're doing in those states is you're just a learner. You're just thinking of ideas and saying, you know what? Yeah, that idea is really good, but why do I care? I'm not going to do anything with it, right? You become very passive. You love to attain knowledge. You're just constantly getting ideas, whether that's through social media you're watching, or observing things around you. But if you're not putting this into fire and you're just having ideas and staying in this slow state of water, you're becoming super passive. And a classic example would be somebody who's an eternal student or eternal learner, right? All you're doing is grasping more and more knowledge, but not doing anything with it. So what I highlighted here is in leadership, there are three types of leaders. There's an assertive leader, an aggressive leader, and a passive leader. It's important to understand that in our own leadership journey, we're going to be assertive at certain times. And the times we're going to be assertive is when we know why we're doing what we're doing, with having self-awareness, moving towards more self-realized, motivated in the right way, and being more noble. That's assertiveness. There's going to be times when we're going to have a lot of desires and a lot of activity that we're going to do in the fire state. And if we're just lazy about it and not having a lot of awareness with us, it's going to make us super aggressive, and we're going to be very agitated about it. we're going to be very pushy about why we need to do certain things, because we're not really thinking about it from an awareness perspective. We're just doing things for the sake of doing things because we have a KPI or a serious desire to get somewhere, right? And then there's going to be times when we become passive. And the reason we become passive is because we're really in our laziness or our water bonding state. We have a lot of ideas. There's hardly any awareness, right? There's a lot of air coming in, but the laziness is making us do into this passive state. And by the way, don't take this in a negative way, please. Passive is also nothing wrong with it. When we're a student and we don't have a lot of activity going on, meaning you're not making a lot of money, you don't have a lot of responsibilities, there's a very good leadership trait that comes out here as well. Even though you're passive, you're actually absorbing a lot of knowledge at that time and you're learning a lot. But our objective ought to be how to get from passive and move ourselves into the fire state and get into the assertive state. One could argue this is the best state to be in. A lot of the leadership examples that you all have given are all in the assertive state because they're aware for a higher purpose and doing a lot of things. So let me pause there and see, Sachin, if you have any other additional questions.
Yeah, I actually just want to go over what passive, aggressive, and assertive is. I'm assuming most people know this, but passive is pretty much when you like, if someone asks you to do something, you'll just do it, or to please someone or say, yeah, I can do that for you. Aggressive is like you're just mad and you're sort of like, you really like fire back, or you're really, usually people that are loud and usually people that like are very, like they have a lot of fire in themselves. And then assertive is actually like known as the best one, which is like in between. It's like you tell people and you're direct what you want to do or what you can't do, but you're not really aggressive and you're not passive. So let's have a small activity. Any volunteer, anyone who says it first. I'm thinking anyone who can go can go. So if there's a volunteer, we're gonna have activity based on passive, assertive, and aggressive. But does anyone want to volunteer to do that? If not, I'll just pick on someone. Okay. Anika, we haven't heard too much from you. Do you want to be a volunteer for the activity? Or...
Sorry, Sachin, she stepped away, but I can volunteer on her behalf.
Okay, sounds good. So what the activity is I'm going to ask you a question, and the first thing you're going to reply in is in a passive way, and then yeah, I'm just going to be the same question. You're going to reply in an aggressive way, and then you're going to reply in an assertive way. So let's start with the question. Hey, Chachu, can you come over to our house right now? I made something pretty cool and I want to show it to you. So you can answer that in a passive way right now.
Sure, sounds good. I'll have to check my schedule and have a lot going on. Maybe sounds good. Not really sure if I have time, but I'll
you
try
can
my
still
best.
you can still come though, right? Because I really want you to. Can you come now?
Okay, assertive. Sure. What time? What do I need to? Who's gonna pick me up? How am I gonna get there? How long is it gonna be? What are we gonna talk about? What's the game plan?
Yeah, we're gonna do a bunch of different things. Do you think if I show you something, do you think it'll be cool to you? It's like a car that I built and I want to show it to you. You can do aggressive now.
What, you gonna build a car? Like, are you kidding me? Are we gonna blow this thing up? Like, are you gonna put diesel or what are you gonna do? Like, this just sounds so interesting. Are we gonna compete with a Tesla and like, all right, I think that's enough.
Yeah, that was actually really good. So that was really, you really got aggressive there and you really explained like all these examples. And then for passive, you were just like, yeah, I don't know, but I'll be there. And then assertive, that's like what we want to be on. You were actually, that's like what the right thing to do, because you were asking what the plan is, when do you have to be there, who's going to pick you up and stuff like that. That was awesome. So round of applause. Nice job. Thank you. I guess we can go to we can go to the next slide now, Dad.
Sachin, we had Kahoot, but I wanted to know, do we want to do Kahoot or?
Of course. It's a short Kahoot, so we can get that done.
Okay. All right.
So everybody can go to this link like last time. It's a short Kahoot this time, 10 seconds per question. And there's only 7 questions, but it should be fun. I'm going to put kahoot.it. So you go on that.
Let me stop.
And then I'll share my screen and I'll put the code so you guys can join through the code. Okay, I see Mr. Chauhan moving, but I see my dad frozen, so I'm assuming that's on my dad. Is he frozen for you guys as well? Or is it just me? I think he is frozen. Can you guys hear me fine and everything? Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I think it's just, oh, it was just my dad. I'm good right now, right? You can just put a thumbs up if I'm good right now. Awesome. So that was just my dad. Okay, I'm gonna share the Kahoot. Let's get it started. So everybody can just go to kahoot.it and put this game pin in. The game pin is 3242153. So I can put this in the chat. And your name should appear on the screen when you joined. Let me share my sound. Okay, so for those who haven't joined, let me know if you need any help joining. You just go to kahoot.it and put the code in on any Google or anything, and then you'll be on the game. You just put your name in and you can join. Okay, I think Dad is back. Nice. Dadaji, could you join the Kahoot?
I'm trying to.
Okay. You just gotta, yeah. I think, Dad, I think your Wi-Fi, something happened with your Wi-Fi. But he's in.
I'm back.
Nice.
Where is Kahoot?
It's kahoot.it. And
Go
just,
on your phone. If
yeah.
you go on your phone, just type in kahoot.it.
Might go a little overtime today, but I think the Kahoot was worth it because it was nice putting it together. So, but if you guys have to head out at 10, that's fine. Does anyone actually have any questions? You can do questions right now if anyone has any questions.
Not really a question, but more of a comment. Explained really well the formations, even the aggressive, the assertive, as well as the passive. So great job.
Thank you. Yeah. And guys, make sure to also keep inviting your friends and family. You can send them the Google form we put on the email and they can fill it out. So we can get more and more people to join this community. Like today we met new people, right? We had Simran join, we had Anis join, and then Bhargav and new people. So it's not always nice to have more people join. So let your friends know. You can put it in WhatsApp group chats. You can put it on Nextdoor and keep promoting it. Okay.
And once you go into kahoot.it, you type in 3242153 as the code.
Yes. Oh, there we go. All right.
Okay.
He's in. Let's get started.
Yeah. Sorry, it took me a little while.
Okay, everybody got it right. Nice job. Cool. Next question. Okay, 3 people said false, 1 person said true. The answer is false because leadership is not just telling people what to do, it's inspiring them and empowering them to do something that you want them to do. Next question. Okay, nice job, Simran, all the way at the top. Or Simran's mom, whoever's playing. Okay, the answer is air plus fire, which is Vata plus Pitta, which we went over. Okay, Simran has a streak with 3 correct answers in a row. Nice job, nice work. Next question. Yep, it's true. Everybody got that right. Nice job. Yep, Vata plus Kapha is air plus water was the right answer. Okay, nice. Nice. Oh, Dadaji, were you choosing answers throughout the thing on your phone?
That's okay. Yeah, that's okay.
All right.
I did it on this, but then it's not taking it on the laptop.
Oh, okay. All right, last question. Nice. Okay.
This was hard, Sachin. It wasn't easy.
3rd place, my dad. 2nd place, Joshua. Nice job. 1st place. Yeah. Good job. Okay, that was pretty fun.
Good. That was a good.
Thank you. Is there any questions? If there's not, we can wrap up the session. But if there's any questions or comments or anything you want to discuss, again, we will keep you posted on email, send you the future links and everything. And we hope to keep seeing you guys coming back to our sessions. And for people watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button and keep watching our content so you can learn more about Ayurveda and the 3 doshas.
Thank you, Sachin. It was great, Sachin. I mean, Sumit, and you did a great job.
Yeah, awesome job, guys. Really loved it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are heading in the right direction.
Yes, I agree. And thank you, Simran.
I like Anika's and Vivan's participation also.
Agreed. Yeah. Thank you guys for joining and taking time out of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Simran and Simran's mom for joining all the way from India. Appreciate it.
And tell your friends also to join, please. Anybody is welcome.
Yes, anyone is welcome. We will do that. So you guys can also help us promote, and we're gonna try getting more and more people to join.
Yeah,
no. And we'll come back with more and more interesting topics. Today was leadership. Next time we'll come up with different types of things that we're always looking for in different traits.
It was very appropriate. Very good topic. Good selection.
Thank you. Well, enjoy the rest of your Saturday, everyone, or yeah, whatever day it is, wherever you are, and then yeah, keep yourself in balance.
Okay, good.
Nice.
All right.
Take
Thank you,
care,
sir.
guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.